Tony Romo was trying to make a statement to Cowboy Nation and the world yesterday. I go deep. I try to make plays downfield as opposed to, this is my interpretation, as opposed to our current quarterback. Not that Tony doesn't love Dak, because we know he gave him the job and backed him
Dak
up.
took
right?
that job.
You know, he did take the job. But Tony Romo was trying to say, look at what I can do, Cowboy Nation. This is what you haven't had all year. Now, maybe it'll just be a nice little sizzle reel for somebody to get desperate enough in the offseason to trade for Tony Romo, and that's fine with me. I hope that happens. But in the end, Tony Romo played one series, and I'm sure there were many in Cowboy Nation, because it can be a little fickle occasionally. I know it well, written 3 books about the Cowboys. I'm sure some people were sitting back thinking, you know, maybe we would be a little better with Tony. No, you will not be better with Tony Romo. Dak Prescott is he's the future and the present of the Dallas Cowboys, because Tony can make big plays and he can make big mistakes, and Dak Prescott will just methodically drive us down the field through 2 home games and into the Super Bowl. Thank you very much. So I'm happy for Tony. I'm happy this team left relatively unscathed, and it's time to get everybody healthy right on schedule.
Skip, I think the biggest thing that Tony was trying to do, he was trying to send a message to the one guy that matters the most, is Jerry. Because Jerry's saying that, hey, Tony's big time.
Yep.
He gives us big plays. And Tony came in trying to do exactly that. I really don't have a problem, because this is how I thought Jason Garrett would handle the situation. I thought Dak would get a quarter, maybe a series or 2 into the second quarter. Tony Romo would come in, play a quarter, and then they would turn it over to Mark Sanchez. But I was 1,000% sure Zeke wasn't going to play.
Really?
Because
wow. You're ahead of me.
He only had 12 carries on Monday night. So now you give him nothing this week. So that's 12 carries for 2 weeks. He gets the bye week, so that's 12 carries for 3 weeks. So now what you do, Skip, you get an opportunity to put as much on his plate, because you only need 2 games to get to Houston. You get an opportunity to put as much on his plate as he can possibly eat. And it's probably going to take somewhere between 60 and 70 touches, be it runs and run pass, to get you where you need to be, because he is the answer. So whatever the question, how does the Cowboys get to the Super Bowl? The answer is Zeke. He needs to carry the football, and he needs to be great like he was all year long. I think if Tony had struggled, they would have brought him back out.
Maybe.
But because he looked so good in that one series he was in, also they said he's been throwing the ball exceptionally well in practice.
He's ready.
So, but I think it's kind of like in a preseason game. If you look good, you get 1 drive. If you don't look as good as you need to, you're going back out there again. And so I think that was the approach that Jason Garrett took. Tony looked so good on that 1 drive, I don't need to see anymore. But the bigger question I have, why is Mark Sanchez still in the NFL?
I don't know.
Skip, he's terrible. You can't tell me, look, you know I'm not the biggest Tebow proponent, but ain't no way this dude should still be in the NFL. Michael Vick can't get a job. They holding Tyrod Taylor out because they don't think he's the answer. And Mark Sanchez is sitting on somebody's team. He's playing. Think about this. Tyrod Taylor threw for 3,000 yards. He led the league in rushing for quarterbacks, the quarterback of the #1 rushing attack. He can't play in the final game. Mark Sanchez is out there throwing passes in the final in week 17. I just want to know, well, maybe he and Jeff Fisher, maybe they swapped tapes. Maybe Mark Sanchez got that blackmail tape now. There's no way, Skip, he should still be quarterbacking in the National Football League.
Well, I remind you, just 2 Thanksgivings ago, as the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, he blew my Cowboys off the field on the big Thanksgiving stage at Jerry World as the Eagles quarterback. And that's about the last good thing he's done. And somehow he's still living off that.
Every once in a while, I'm walking in the grocery store parking lot, and I look down and I find $1. Most of the time, it's just pennies. But for sometimes, occasionally, I'll find $1.
You find $1
I'll find
in the parking lot?
You pick it up?
Of course I do.
Are you sure you aren't going to get punked by somebody?
Hey,
It's on a string.
Hey, I ain't even looking around to see if anybody watching. I grabbed $1, and that's what Mark Sanchez is. Every once in a blue moon, he'll have a game. Skip,
Yeah, he has the capacity to have a big game.
But out of 1 game, the other 15 gonna be some straight up garbage.
Well, Skip, you have to be happy that everyone got out of it
I am
healthy.
extremely relieved.
Good.